Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. So, have you ever felt like you just can't shake that heavy, sluggish feeling, like no matter how much sleep you get, you still wake up tired, or maybe your hands and feet are always cold, even in summer, and you're the one in the office who's always reaching for a sweater while everyone else is comfortable? I've been hearing this a lot from my patients lately. With the weather going up and down like a roller coaster, a lot of folks are telling me they've had this cough that just won't go away, or they feel this overall heaviness that makes getting through the day a real struggle. And at night, you pile on the blankets, but your feet still feel like ice cubes. You toss and turn. And even when you finally fall asleep, you wake up in the middle of the night freezing again. So today, we're going to skip all the complicated medical theories and have a real conversation about something so many of you have asked me about. We're talking about how to actually get rid of that deep, stubborn chill that seems to settle into your bones. Now, when I talk to patients about building up their internal warmth, they often ask me, Doc, what's the strongest herb for this? Is it this one? Is it that one? Let me break it down for you. Some of those very potent herbs you hear about, they're like a fire extinguisher. They're incredibly powerful, but you only use them in an emergency when things are really critical. Then there's ginger, which is wonderful for warming your stomach and your digestive system. It's great if you've been out in the cold or got caught in the rain and you need to warm up your surface. But here's the thing, those are more superficial. They warm the surface or maybe just the middle of your body. But what about the cold that's really dug in? The cold in your joints, your lower back, the deep part of your core where you can feel the chill in your bones. The one that's been there for years, that's where cinnamon comes in. And I'm not talking about the thin, flaky stuff you buy in a little jar at the supermarket for your coffee or your apple pie. That's fine for baking, but it's not what we use in a medical context. I'm talking about the thick, oily, reddish-brown bark that you get from specific regions. That's the real medicine. I can't tell you how many patients I've seen over the years who are just completely drained of their vital warmth. Their hands and feet are cold no matter how many layers they wear. They're the ones who shy away from the air conditioning in summer while everyone else is cranking it up. They feel like a human barometer. Their joints ache before a storm, and they can predict the rain better than the weather app in sleep. Forget about it. Their bed feels like an icebox. They're up all night, flipping the pillow, switching positions, and their sleep quality is just awful. For my female patients, that monthly cycle often brings crippling pain, pale complexion, and heavy dark clotting. For my male patients, it's a constant low back ache and that feeling of having zero energy. Like walking through quicksand, even speaking feels like too much effort. Many people just chalk this up to getting older, but in my clinical experience, that's often not the main reason. What I see is that the body's internal warmth, what we call your vital energy, is being suppressed. It's like having a thick blanket of clouds blocking the sun. You're not getting the light and heat you need to function well, and here's the key for this kind of deep cold. Simply drinking ginger tea isn't going to be enough. Ginger is fantastic for chasing away a superficial chill. It's like sweeping the floor. You get the dust you can see, but the dampness, the cold, that's seeped into your joints, your muscles, even your bone marrow. Ginger can't even touch that. It's like trying to dry out a wet basement with a hand towel. Cinnamon is different. It's not flashy and it doesn't work overnight, but it goes deep. It's like a slow burning, steady log on a fire. It penetrates all the way down to the source of your body's heat, what we sometimes call the gate of vitality. Think of that as the main power switch for your whole house. Once you turn that on, the whole system starts to warm up. And as the warmth spreads, the dampness and cold get dried out from the inside. It's like the sun coming out after a long rain. Everything starts to dry up and feel better. This deep cold, where does it come from? Why does it get so deep? Let's break it into 3 layers, because this really helps my patients understand what's going on. The first layer is on the surface. You get caught in a draft, you start sneezing, you get a runny nose or a headache. This is superficial, it's easy to fix. A cup of ginger tea, a hot bath, and you're usually good to go. The second layer is in your muscles and your connective tissue. You feel achy all over. Your back is stiff, your shoulders are tight, and you feel like you're carrying a heavy load at this stage. Things like acupuncture, cupping, or a deep massage can still help a lot. They can kind of pull out that dampness and stiffness, but the third layer is the one that gives people the most trouble. This is when the cold and damp have gone all the way into your joints, your bones, and even your internal organs at this level, soaking your feet in hot water or drinking ginger tea. It just warms you on the outside, you feel it on your skin, but as soon as you stop, the chill comes right back. Your knees still feel like they've been dunked in cold water all night. Your lower back aches no matter how you lie down. You change positions 10 times and still can't get comfortable. For my female patients, That lower abdomen feels like it's got a permanent cold pack strapped to it. For everyone, the pain and stiffness become a constant companion. Why does cold get so deep? Because you've been spending your internal warmth for years without putting it back. And this is where I really want you to listen carefully. When you were younger, you probably stayed up late all the time, drank iced coffee, ate ice cream, lived under a blast of air conditioning, and you felt fine. You were young, your system was resilient, you bounced back. But every time you did that, it was like making a withdrawal from your health savings account. You don't feel it at the time. But you're slowly draining your reserves. Over time, the door is left open and the cold starts slipping in. At first, it's just surface stuff. Maybe you get sick a little more often, you ignore it. Then it gets into your muscles and you just think you're getting older or you're out of shape. You don't think much of it, but then it sinks deeper and deeper all the way into your bones. And by the time you realize something is really wrong, it's been there for a long time. It's like a squatter that's moved into your house and set up camp. Think about all the folks you know who have that old knee injury that acts up every time it rains. Why does that happen? Because the cold and dampness are already in the joint spaces. They've made a home there. Cold makes things contract and tighten up. Dampness makes things heavy and sluggish. Put them together and you've got a traffic jam in your circulatory system. It's like a freeway at rush hour, nothing moves, and that's when you feel pain. And when it gets cold outside, the pain gets worse because the contraction is even stronger. And painkillers, they might give you a few hours of relief, but they're like putting a band-aid on a broken pipe. The underlying problem, that deep cold that's blocking your circulation, it's still there. The pain comes right back because the root cause hasn't been addressed. It's not a nerve problem. It's a warmth problem. It's a circulation problem. That area is like a room in your house that the sun never reaches. It's always cold and damp. Now, you might be thinking, but I exercise, I run, I swim, I'm active, and that is fantastic. But here's the catch that many people miss. If your internal warmth is already low, intense exercise can actually drain what you have left. It's like trying to drive a car on an empty tank. You're pressing the gas pedal, but there's no fuel. Instead of helping, you're just making yourself more depleted. The real fix isn't about more external activity. It's about lighting that internal fire. You warm a cold room not by turning on the fan, that makes it worse, but by starting a fire in the fireplace and letting the heat radiate out. That's exactly what cinnamon does. It's that little flame that's quiet, steady, and long-lasting. It goes deep and slowly, gently, melts away that cold. So let's talk about what cinnamon actually does for you. In my clinical practice, the thing I value most about cinnamon is its ability to penetrate. Other warming herbs like ginger, they warm the stomach, but they don't travel much further. Some of those emergency herbs we talked about earlier, they're powerful, but you can't use them every day. Only cinnamon is warm but not harsh. It's rich and deeply penetrates, going straight to the deepest energy pathways in the body. It doesn't burn you like a torch. It's more like slow roasting. It slowly dries out the cold and dampness in your joints and bones, letting your body start to heal from the very center of your being. Now, I want to walk you through the three main things cinnamon does, because this is how I explain it to my patients in the office. First, it restores and rekindles your core energy. And let's be clear, when I say core energy, I'm not just talking about one specific area. I'm talking about your entire vitality. Your mood, your body temperature, your digestion, your immune system, everything depends on this. Think of it like the engine of your car. When that core energy is low, you feel low, you're tired all the time, you can't get warm, you're up 3 times a night using the bathroom, you get winded walking up a flight of stairs. You just don't feel like yourself. And the thing is, you could take all the supplements for energy in the world, but if your internal furnace isn't lit, they won't do much. It's like having a pile of wood and a fireplace, but no match. Cinnamon is that match. It lights the fire, it brings that warmth back to where it belongs. I often combine it with other ingredients that nourish and support. It's a team effort. The idea is to bring your energy back home to the center of your body so it can then radiate out. That's how you start to feel warm again. That's how your energy comes back. It's like recharging your battery from empty to full. And this is especially important for people over 40. It's not a disease. It's a natural change, but we can support our bodies by giving them the right kind of fuel. A little bit of cinnamon every day. It's like adding wood to the fire every morning. It's a small investment that pays off over time. Second, it disperses cold and relieves pain. So many of my patients come in with joint pain, lower back pain, shoulder pain, and they've been told it's just arthritis or inflammation or they're getting old. But when I look at their whole picture, I see it's often a combination of cold and dampness that's blocked up the pathways. These are the people who can tell you when a storm is coming because their joints start acting up. Their pain is worse in cold weather and it gets better when they apply heat. like a hot water bottle or a warm bath. When I feel their skin over the painful area, it's often cool or even cold to the touch. Their circulation is just not reaching there. Now, you could take a medication that thins your blood or improves circulation, but if the pipes are frozen, it's not going to help. You have to thaw the pipes first. Cinnamon does that. It opens things up. It's like pouring warm water over a frozen lock. It thaws the cold so the blood can flow again. I use it a lot for chronic knee pain, sciatica, shoulder stiffness, and even plantar fasciitis if it's cold related. And a lot of it is cinnamon is my go-to for milder cases. I'll recommend a simple tea or adding it to meals for more severe cases. I'll combine it with other herbs that target those specific areas. The feedback is almost always positive, and the best part, it's not just masking the pain, it's targeting the source, so you can actually heal. Third, it warms your digestive system. A lot of people think cinnamon is just for your kidneys or your lower half, but it's actually a fantastic support for your digestive system too. Your digestive system is your body's main processing plant. It's where you take in food and turn it into fuel and building blocks. But just like a factory needs power to run, your digestive system needs warmth to work efficiently. If that warmth is low, you get bloated, your stomach gurgles and makes strange noises, your stool becomes loose and unformed, you feel incredibly tired after meals, your skin might even take on a dull, pale color, and here's the problem. You could eat all the right foods, take probiotics, eat yogurt every day, but if you can't absorb the nutrients because the engine is cold, you're not getting the benefit. You have to warm the digestive system from the inside, and cinnamon is brilliant at this. I often use it together with other herbs that are known for supporting digestion. Together, they work even better because cinnamon's warmth helps the digestive system do its job. Think of it like this. You don't just light the fire, you put it under the pot so the food gets cooked. That way, you're supporting both the source and the process. And this is so relevant in modern life. Between the iced drinks, the salads, the cold sandwiches, the smoothie bowls, so many of us are cooling down our digestive systems without realizing it. Over time, that takes a toll. One of the simplest things I tell my patients is to swap their cold breakfast for a warm one. A bowl of warm oats with a sprinkle of cinnamon in the morning, it's like turning the heat on for your whole day. It costs pennies and it does wonders. So to bring it all together, these three things, restoring core energy, dispersing cold and pain, and warming digestion, they all come back to one single principle. When your internal warmth is sufficient, the cold disperses, the pain stops, the digestive system works smoothly, your blood flows better, and you feel more alive. Cinnamon isn't fancy or flashy, but it works from the very foundation, supporting your whole body. That's the real wisdom, not fighting symptoms, but helping your body restore its own natural healing ability. Now, here's where I need to be really clear. Cinnamon is not for everyone, and this is a critical point. It's like a good knife, fantastic for cutting vegetables, but dangerous if you don't use it correctly. I've seen people go to the health food store, buy a bag of cinnamon, and start taking huge amounts because they heard it was good for them. Then they come to me with mouth sores, insomnia, bloody noses, feeling jittery and anxious, and they're upset because it didn't work, but it's not the cinnamon's fault. It's a mismatch. It's using the wrong tool for the job. So who is cinnamon good for? It's for people who have that condition of internal cold and dampness we've been talking about. Let me give you a checklist so you can see if this might apply to you. You might be a candidate if you are unusually cold, especially from the waist down, your feet are cold, your knees are cold in summer. You still need a blanket at night. You're the one who always brings a jacket to the restaurant because the AC is too strong. You feel tired all the time, not just sleepy, but a deep fatigue. Your energy is low and even simple tasks feel draining. Your voice might even be softer than it used to be. You have to get up multiple times during the night to use the bathroom. Maybe 3 or 4 times, which destroys your sleep quality. Your bowel movements are consistently soft or loose, and anything cold you eat, like a salad or a piece of fruit, seems to go right through you. Your tongue looks pale, swollen, or has a white coating. For my female patients, you experience severe menstrual cramps, your cycle is delayed, and you have heavy clotting. For my male patients, you have that constant lower back weakness, and you just don't feel as strong or vibrant as you used to. If you checked off several of these, then gentle, consistent use of cinnamon could be like sending in a warm, comforting support team. It's not magic, but it works. And this is so important, there are people who absolutely should not use cinnamon. If you fall into any of these categories, please stay away. It's not for you. First, people who have what we call excess heat from a deficiency of fluids. This sounds complicated, but let me explain. These are people whose hands and feet are always hot, they sweat at night soaking their sheets, they're always thirsty, and their tongue is red with little or no coating. They feel like they're burning up. They don't have a lack of heat, they have a lack of fluid. Their body is like a pot with very little water and the stove is turned up too high. If you add cinnamon to that, it's like throwing a match into a dry forest. You're going to get mouth ulcers, severe thirst, constipation, red eyes, even worse, insomnia. It's the exact opposite of what they need. Second, people with an acute heat condition. If you have a fever, a sore throat that feels like swallowing broken glass, or you're constipated with rock hard stools, and your face is flushed and hot, do not use cinnamon. It will make these conditions much, much worse. It's not the right tool. Third, anyone who is pregnant, unless you are under the direct care and supervision of an obstetrician who knows your full history and is okay with this, please do not use cinnamon as a daily supplement. It has properties that can affect circulation and could potentially affect a pregnancy. Safety first. Fourth, anyone with bleeding disorders or a tendency to bleed easily. If you have heavy menstrual bleeding, frequent nosebleeds, bleeding gums, or hemorrhoids that bleed, cinnamon is not for you. It can promote circulation and movement, which could actually increase bleeding. Fifth, people with high blood pressure that is associated with that excess heat we talked about. If you get dizzy, have frequent headaches, a feeling of heat rising to your head, and you're easily irritated, cinnamon may actually make those symptoms worse. You'll feel more head pressure, more headaches. It's not the right fit. And one more very important point, dosage. This is a daily wellness herb. You don't need a lot of it. For a typical person, about 3 grams a day is plenty. That's about the size of your pinky finger in stick form or a small level teaspoon in powder form. And here's a key tip. You want to drink the tea or the infusion and discard the bark. You don't want to eat the powder directly or swallow a bunch of fiber. Especially if your digestion is sensitive, that can be too harsh. I've had patients think, oh, if a little is good, a lot must be better. So they take a whole bunch and then they have acne, mouth sores, and they feel overheated. It's counterproductive. Slow and steady wins the race. In Chinese medicine, we always talk about balance. If you warm the fire, you also have to protect the water so you don't dry out. That's why I often pair cinnamon with other ingredients that nourish and support the system. They work together. The warmth is supported by nourishment, and the nourishment is supported by warmth. It's like yin and yang. They need each other. Using cinnamon on its own can be too one-sided. It's like having a fire without a fireplace. You will burn the house down. You need to contain and nurture that warmth. So the bottom line is this: if you're not sure about your body type, please don't just buy a bag of cinnamon and start experimenting. Take a moment to look at your own patterns, compare them to the checklist I just gave you. If you're still uncertain, your best bet is to talk to a practitioner who can help you understand your own unique constitution. They can check your pulse, look at your tongue, ask the right questions, and give you a personalized recommendation. Your health isn't a fad. Just because something worked for your neighbor or your cousin doesn't mean it's right for you. We are all different. Cinnamon is a wonderful tool, but when you use it, it can be a treasure. When you misuse it, it can be harmful. Please keep that in mind. Now, let's talk about something really practical. How you can actually use this every day, because the best medicine is often the one that's already in your kitchen. It's affordable, it's natural, and it's easy to integrate into your daily routine. The first is a cinnamon and brown sugar tea. This is one I recommend particularly to my female patients who deal with painful periods. I've had so many women tell me they've been struggling for years, and this simple drink has made a real difference. It's straightforward and it works. Here's how to make it. Take 1 stick of cinnamon, about the size of your pinky finger, or about a level teaspoon of cinnamon powder. Add about a tablespoon of brown sugar and about 2 cups of water. That's about the size of a standard coffee mug. Bring it to a boil, then turn down the heat and let it simmer for about 10 to 15 minutes. You'll know it's ready when the water turns a light amber color and you can really smell the cinnamon. Then stir in the brown sugar and strain out the cinnamon stick or the powder. And this is the most important part: drink it warm, don't let it get cold. The warmth is part of the treatment. And when should you drink it? If you're using it for menstrual cramps, start drinking it about 3 days before you expect your period to start. Continue through the first couple of days of your cycle. The brown sugar isn't just for sweetness, it's a gentle warmth support in its own right. Together with the cinnamon, it's a powerful team. One helps to warm the blood and the other helps to move it. Many women have cramps not because they're bleeding too little, but because the blood is frozen and can't flow easily. It's like a traffic jam. This tea helps to melt that cold and get the traffic moving again. And when the flow is smooth, the pain stops. It's not a painkiller that just numbs you. It's helping your body restore its natural rhythm. The second is a cinnamon walnut oatmeal for breakfast. This one is fantastic for my patients in their late 40s and beyond, especially those who deal with lower back stiffness, forgetfulness, and that constant nagging fatigue. Here's the recipe. Cook about a half a cup of rolled oats with a cup of water, like you normally would. When the oats are almost done and they're nice and creamy, stir in a small handful of crushed walnuts and about a teaspoon of cinnamon powder. Let that cook together for another 5 to 10 minutes. So all the flavors blend. You can add a little brown sugar if you like it sweet, or a pinch of salt if you prefer savory. Both work beautifully. The walnuts are good for your brain. They support your joints and they're just nutritious. The cinnamon supports your core warmth and helps bring that energy home. Think of them as a double protection. One nourishes, the other warms. When your core warmth is sufficient, your lower back doesn't ache as much, your feet aren't as cold, and you don't have to get up 2 or 3 times a night to use the bathroom. Your sleep improves, your energy goes up, and you just feel better overall. This oatmeal is not greasy or heavy. It's warm and comforting. Have it 3 or 4 times a week and stick with it. A little bit of consistency goes a long way. It's a much better investment than those expensive supplements that come in shiny bottles. This is real food, it's natural, and it's sustainable. These two recipes are simple, but they only work if they match your body's needs, and if you're consistent, don't do it one day and skip the next two. You won't see the benefits, and don't go overboard with the cinnamon. A little bit is all you need. Remember, taking care of your health is a long-term commitment. It's not a quick fix. It's not a sprint. It's a marathon. You give your body a little warmth and a little care every day, and over time that builds up. Your internal warmth starts to grow, that deep cold starts to dissipate, and your body will respond by feeling stronger, more alive, and more vibrant. All right, everyone, that's what I wanted to share with you today. I truly hope this information helps you understand what might be going on in your body and gives you some practical, safe steps you can take. If you found this useful, I'd love to hear from you. Drop a comment below and let me know if you've ever dealt with this kind of deep cold or if you try any of these recipes. And if you know someone who's always freezing, who complains about joint pain when it rains, or who just can't get warm at night, share this video with them. Let's all look out for each other. And as always, a gentle reminder. This is for educational and informational purposes only. It's not a substitute for professional medical advice. If you're dealing with any health concerns, please reach out to your own primary care doctor or a qualified healthcare practitioner. I'm here to help you understand the science and the tradition behind these approaches, but I'm not your doctor. Always consult a professional before making any changes to your health routine. Thanks so much for watching. Take care of yourselves, and I'll see you in the next one. Disclaimer, this is for educational purposes only. Always consult your own doctor before making changes.